I like to read a lot, specifically comics and manga in my case. The most recent manga I've enjoyed reading lately is Chainsaw It gained global notoriety in 2020 for its unique take on the shonen genre. The author, Tatsuki Fujimoto, is infamous for his other works like Fire Punch, which is known for having dark themes of cannibalism, abuse, and suicide. Chainsaw Man follows the perspective of Denji, who is a struggling teenager trying to pay off an enormous amount of debt his father had left behind. He works as a devil hunter, taking on commissions to make ends meet. Our first antagonist of the story is Makima, who recruited Denji into the organization and is seen as a maternal figure throughout the story. Many people online have debated on whether or not Makima is considered a psychopath based on the DSM-5 criteria. Today, I'm here to answer that question. Psychopaths are often introduced in movies as individuals who are charismatic, charming, and conventionally attractive. But under the glitz and glamour, they had a sinister side, often conducting murders, foul crimes behind the scenes, manipulating innocent people for their own gains. A popular example of this would be Patrick Boyle from American Psycho. Content warning: do not diagnose yourself. Always talk to a licensed professional about your own personal experiences or symptoms. The content made today is for entertainment reasons and is not to be taken seriously. Chainsaw Man covers many heavy topics ranging from suicide, gore, physical brutality, and sexual nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. In the world of Chainsaw Man, we can encounter many types of beings. The three primary ones we encounter are devils, devil hunters, and fiends. Number 1. Devil hunters are the most powerful beings in this story. They represent human fears and become even stronger when more people fear them, which allows them to further spread that fear even more. Their powers can vary based on the fear they represent. Devils can also mirror anything, especially humans. Number 2. Devil hunters. As the name suggests, they protect citizens, similar to the police force. They are all exceptional fighters, and many of them often work in contract with another devil. This may sound contradictory, but let me explain. When in a contract with the devil, humans gain supernatural powers, making them much more suited for fights. Though, depending on the devil, there can be limited amounts of power, and also really significant consequences if they fail to utilize that power correctly. Fiends. This is a weakened version of a devil. They utilize a human's corpse in order to host their power. In a sense, you're directly talking to a human corpse, but it has a devil inside of it. Makima is the main antagonist in the Public Safety Saga arc. She's introduced as a high-ranking public safety officer who commands and sends out devil hunting missions to those working under her. She is revered by many famous devil hunters, such as Kashibi and Kwangshi, and holds a high level of authority and power among her subordinates. Makima is an extremely characteristic individual who is able to assess situations critically and bears little to no consequence for the decisions that she makes. Most notably, she is able to act like she has the capacity for empathy. It's revealed during the end of the Gun Devil arc that Makima is revealed to be the Control Devil. This shocks Denji entirely, who has seen Makima as a maternal figure all his life, giving him a home and a family through Aki, Hawakawa, and power. Makima's true character can be described as a Machiavellian. She is a manipulative and cunning individual who lacks empathy for others. She holds a very low view of her subordinates and those working close to her. In Makima's perspective, they are simply viewed as dogs. Through her powers of being the Control Devil, Makima's ideology is to create a perfect world for humanity, as seen in Chapter 84, one where everyone is safe. Though, the means Makima goes to obtain this perfect world are completely cruel and corrupt. Due to the way Makima was raised, being the Control Devil that is, she never had a relationship where it was equal. Makima's true desire was to build relationships where she was on equal footing with others, but with the weight of public safety on her mind, she yearned instead for something like a family as seen in Chapter 97. This brings me to my main topic of the video for today, as whether or not does Makima meet the criteria for being considered a psychopath. We need to understand something though. This question uses outdated terminology. The terms psychopath and sociopath are technically considered outdated in the DSM-5 criteria, and additionally, medical professionals are moving away from using these terms. Instead, we're going to focus on the diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder, or ASPD for short, which is used to describe a behavior categorized by a lack of empathy, strong immoral conduct, and a persistent manipulation for one's own gain. We need to discuss something important as well. When discussing a fictional character like Makima, it's important to remember that her traits and behaviors can be complex and may not fit neatly into these diagnostic characteristics. The term psychopath is used in discussion to describe a certain character traits, but they are not clinically accurate nor universally agreed upon. So, let's get started. What is antisocial personality disorder? Well, antisocial personality disorder is a mental condition that impacts the individual's well-being and functioning. Key character traits include a lack of empathy for others and prone to lying or being manipulative. While violence and anger are commonly associated with antisocial personality disorder, it is important to acknowledge that not all individuals diagnosed with ASPD will exhibit these traits. What can cause ASPD? ASPD can be caused by a variety of factors. There's no sole cause for this disorder, but some examples could be theorized genetic factors, traumatic experiences in childhood like abuse or neglect, inconsistent parenting, being in and out of child services, which are some examples to go from. But an important thing to note is that identifying the exact causes of ASPD, or really any disorder for example, involves a lot of hard work. Involving genetic factors and individual responses to past events, like trauma, can be really challenging due to the complex relationship between genes and experiences. ASPD does not have a standardized diagnostic method. If a child is diagnosed with a conduct disorder during adolescence, they are at a heightened risk for developing ASPD later on down the road, often displaying more severe symptoms compared to those without the diagnosis. Conduct disorders are often seen as an early indicator for individuals developing ASPD. Boys have higher rates of developing ASPD compared to girls, which is also escalated during puberty. Once someone is 18, they can be diagnosed with ASPD. The symptoms of ASPD are mentioned, but not limited to, deceitfulness, repeatedly lying, using aliases or conning others for personal profit, impulsivity or the failure to plan, irritability and aggressiveness, often with physical fights or results, but this does not include all diagnoses. It's only a symptom, and some people may have it, some people may not. Reckless disregard for the safety of self or others, consistent irresponsibility, failure to sustain consistent work behavior or honor monetary obligations, lack of remorse, being indifferent, or rationalizing having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from another person. These are some of the symptoms that are included, but not really limited to ASPD. ASPD is highly challenging to treat as it affects the individual psychologically and genetically. Their impaired ability to discern from right and wrong makes it difficult for them to comprehend the harmful impact of the methods that they use on others. It significantly affects Makima's ability to perform well at her job as the public safety commissioner, as she's literally unable to empathize with the citizens of the city, along with her own comrades. Makima's means to make the world safe have her using cruel and corrupt methods to reach her goals, which ultimately end up harming the people she's trying to protect. Makima is blinded by the responsibilities of being the public safety commissioner and by her own narcissistic personality. Additionally, Makima maintains a significant power dynamic between her comrades and herself in their relationships with one another. Her depiction as a compassionate mentor is far from accurate. Individuals with ASPD exhibit charismatic traits and a desire for power and attention. They may experience a notable absence of emotions, both positive and negative, and in some cases, they may resort to the most extreme methods to achieve their goals. There are a plethora of mental disorders that have similar characteristics to ASPD. Some viewers could argue that narcissistic personality disorder can also explain Makima's behavior throughout the public safety saga arc. For example, according to the American National Library of Medicine, narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, is a psychological disorder characterized by the persistent pattern of grandiosity, fantasies of unlimited power or importance, and the need for admiration and special treatment. Makima possesses an entitled sense of superiority. She always appears confident even during stressful situations. As to quote the Chainsawman wiki, she is not afraid of her plans derailing, since whether or not her plans fail or succeed, she will almost always achieve something that she wants. Throughout the entire story of Chainsawman, Makima's entire plan was to psychologically break down Denji, which bared no consequence on her. Even if her plan had succeeded or failed, she viewed it as an honor to just die to Denji anyways, according to chapter 83. Symptoms that are similar to between ASPD and NPD are: believe that they are superior to others and can only spend time with or to be understood equally by special people. They take advantage of others to get what they want. They have an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs or feelings of others, have an unreasonably high sense of self-importance, and require constant and excessive admiration.